Creating a banner for your course site in Blackboard. Sometimes instructors wish to provide a more welcoming, customized experience for their students when entering their online course site. One way to accomplish this is to create an image that is visible on the course entry page so students know that they've arrived to the right site. The image can also portray a mood that might help set the tone. In Blackboard, using a site banner is a way to accomplish this entry experience. You can even decide which entry page where students will arrive at first to your site. Images can be created in any photo or image editing software, as long as the image is 480 pixels by 80 pixels in size. In this tutorial video, we will show you how to create a banner using the common software PowerPoint, which is available to most at the University of Windsor, how to upload that banner into your course site in Blackboard, and how to set a customized entry page for your Blackboard course site. We will begin with the image creation using Microsoft PowerPoint. Open up your version of PowerPoint. For this demonstration, we are using PowerPoint for Office 365 on a PC, so you might see some minor changes to the version you are using, but the feature set should be similar. If you're on a Mac or another version of a PowerPoint than what we show in the video, and the features are very different, visit support.office.com and search for your system for help. Open PowerPoint and create a new file. Under Design, click Slide Size and then click Custom Slide Size. Under Slide Size, choose Banner. Blackboard recommends that the size of banners be 480 by 80 pixels. In the width and height boxes, PowerPoint accepts measurements in inches, centimeters, or pixels. Type a number followed by a space, then the appropriate abbreviation, IN, inches, or CM, centimeters, or PX, pixels. PowerPoint then converts the measurements, if necessary, to the unit of measurement your software system uses. Under Orientation, choose Landscape, so the width is greater than the height, and then click OK. Now style your banner according to your requirements, and don't forget to save your file. Once your design is finished, go to File, Export, change file type, then double-click on PNG, Portable Network Graphics, to export the file as a .pmg image for best quality. From the pop-up screen, save the current slide only. Note you'll need to remember where you saved the file so you can retrieve it later. Next, log into Blackboard and navigate to your course. Under the Control panel, click Customization, then click Teaching Style. Scroll down and select Banner. Scroll down, and under Select Banner, click Browse My Computer to upload the banner. Some earlier versions of PowerPoint may have also saved the image file within a folder, so you may need to look there if that applies to you. Select the banner file to upload and click Submit to complete. Please note that the banner will only display on what you have selected as the entry point for your course, and not on all pages. To set or change the entry point, which is the first area users see when entering your course, scroll up a bit on the same Teaching Style screen. In the Customization Teaching Style page, to locate, select Course Entry Point. Choose your desired entry point from the drop-down menu. Click Submit to complete. Just to recap, this tutorial demonstrated how to create a banner using the common software PowerPoint and save it as an image, upload an image as a banner to be used on your Blackboard course's entry page, and how to set a customized entry page. If you need further help about using or customizing your Blackboard site, please visit uwindsor.ca/Blackboard, where you can search for articles and find ways to get in touch with us.